Hey Hattiesburg, it's Toby Barker. I come to you today to update you on our next steps for the Hattiesburg Police Department. We are incredibly grateful for the 5 years of service of Chief Anthony Parker. When we came into office in 2017, HPD was down to 94 sworn officers. However, working with Chief Parker, we came up with a plan. He and his command staff created a pay scale that would give annual step raises to officers. He also supported initiatives like continuing education opportunities for officers at both of our universities. He supported holding multiple academies per year and outside testing for promotions. These initiatives worked, and we have steadily been well over 100 officers for each of the past 2 years. We have seen positive outcomes from all of these initiatives, and this year, even with the economic and physical and mental stress brought on by a pandemic, Hattiesburg has seen its lowest total Part 1 crimes in 5 years. Chief Parker has been someone that I have leaned on time and again for not only his leadership in the community, but also his counsel and steady demeanor. He is someone trusted by officers and the community. We are sad to see him go, but after 39 years in a profession, he has earned a long-awaited retirement free of the stress that comes along with law enforcement. We wish him and his family well in their next steps. The question we now face is, what's next for the Hattiesburg Police Department? While we do plan on expanding our search for a permanent chief for the upcoming term, the immediate question for us is, how do we continue to build on the success of the past 3 years and keep moving forward right now through the end of this term? Luckily, we have 2 senior members in our police department who have been trusted leaders in law enforcement for our community for a long time. And that's Assistant Chief Peggy Sealy and Major of Operations Hattie Sims. Peggy Sealey has served as Assistant Chief for the past 3 years. She began her career as a meter maid in the late 80s before entering and graduating from the police academy. Assistant Chief Sealy embodied community policing before it became a buzzword used in law enforcement circles. She spent many of her early patrol days in Robertson Place, Briarfield Apartments, and Palmer's Crossing. And over the course of her career, she has worked in patrol, detectives, and internal affairs, among others, subsequently working her way from sergeant to lieutenant to captain, and now on to assistant chief. Peggy Sealey holds the respect and support of men and women in uniform, as well as the neighborhoods in which she has worked over the years. Hattie Sims began his career with the Hattiesburg Police Department in 1992 in the same academy class as Peggy Sealey. After 2 years on patrol, he was on the original neighborhood enhancement team, working to have productive dialogue with residents and helping solve problems, keep crime low, and enhance quality of life. He went on to work in the detective division and community relations and was actually the department's first ever public information officer. He served as captain over patrol and eventually became Major of Operations, a position he has held since 2004. Hattie Sims is a gifted, knowledgeable law enforcement officer who can execute a plan from start to finish. During this transition over the next several months, Peggy Sealey will serve as interim chief and Hattie Sims will serve as interim assistant chief. And I know that in a year where women have continued to shatter glass ceilings, the significance of Hattiesburg having a woman lead its police department for the very first time is yet another step forward for our community. We know that there are many important issues ahead for our police department. We want to continue growing manpower to above 110 as we move toward the 120 slots that we budget for every year. We want full implementation of the new Police Citizens Review Board to create more open dialogue and citizen input on expectations, policies, and procedures for our police department. We want to address remaining safety and quality of life issues for our officers as it relates to vehicles, uniforms, and promotions. We want to continue training initiatives on things like de-escalation and recognizing and responding to those individuals who are in mental health crisis. But most importantly, we want officers doing true community policing, getting out of their cars, interacting with residents, and learning the unique nuances of every neighborhood in this city. That is the Hattiesburg way. Public safety is the most important function of a municipal government. It is also a partnership, and it thrives on trust. This year, we have made great progress in reducing overall felony crime rates. However, we know we still have work to do in lowering those incidents of aggravated assaults and domestic violence, which we have seen increase as this pandemic has worn on. However, I know with the leadership of Peggy Sealey and Hattie Sims, we can make significant progress on all of these goals over the next few months.